Awesome. Hey, John, thanks for joining me again today for another website teardown. Today, we're going to take a look at
Mhm.
sendafriend.co. And I saw Tyler on Twitter, I believe. I'm guessing he's the founder, and they're doing a really great thing in terms of
Mhm.
donating money to children's hospitals, as you can see just above the
Great.
cutoff for the fold here. But
Yeah.
also, they're having a pretty good year from the sounds of it in terms of revenue. So, doing well so that you can do good is a phrase I always like to throw out there. So, I've got the site loaded up here. First glance, 5-second test, as we always call it. Like, what do
Mhm.
you think this company sells? What attracts your attention here?
Yeah, I think the image is where my eye goes first and likely for everybody. So, they've got the new badge calling it out, and it's pretty clear in the name. I think the name is what's genius here. Part of it is send a friend, like you kind of get it, right?
Mhm.
Um, I'm also a little biased. I have a 4.5 year old and he's still into these things. So I was looking at this like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like I could see him really liking that. Um, but I do have a little concern about the navigation. I do have some concern around where they place the free shipping, and I had some concern about what's in that main marketing focus area. Um, because let's just break each of those down. So I'll start with the navigation. Shop All doesn't really tell me much about what they do, right? So they have Shop All, bundles, donate, mission, press, help center, and login. So out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items, donate, mission, press, help center, and login are all about them. So two of them are about possibly helping the consumer take a next step of purchase. Login is going to be repeat purchases, or if you have a challenge with your order, right? Help center, I get, can help people, but if you need help center in your main navigation, you should be addressing those challenges throughout the site experience instead. It's okay to have help readily available, of course, but I think that um, talking about yourself in terms of press is definitely a problem. Mission should be communicated throughout the site. And donate, I'm like, well, am I donating to you, or is this what you've donated in the past? But generally, if I'm here, I'm not here likely to donate, right? I'm here to buy the product that's been advertised to me or I've heard about from a friend, something of that sort. Bundles, I get, makes some sense, but really Shop All is where I'm getting let down because it doesn't tell me, nothing in this navigation tells me what you sell. And I think that's the biggest challenge for me in the navigation. Would you agree with that, James?
Yeah, I would just say this section in general, the picture's great and it's fairly intuitive, but at a glance, if I don't know anything about Send a Friend, which I know very little,
Mhm.
the name kind of says part of it, but I can't tell, is this like, this kind of looks like some of those fuzzy bunny slippers. Like, do I slide my foot into it?
Mm.
Is it small enough to go onto a keychain? Is it, the size of a teddy bear? What is it? Is it some giant plush thing that's supposed to be a bit like kids' furniture, basically? It could be any
Mhm.
number of things. And the picture alone is not telling me what I'm getting involved with. So that's the main takeaway I have from all of this is like, I see it's a shark. I see it's nice and soft. I bet my kid would love it, but I have no idea how it fits into my life or his or her life. So that's what I'm
Yep.
left walking away with is more questions than answers. And I think to your point, that's probably an area for improvement here. I know we just published an email newsletter all about how you can tell your brand story. And I'm guessing the brand story is very important to Send a Friend. I mean, they're donating to
Mhm.
children's hospitals. They've got mission and donate right in their primary navigation. So it is important, but we talked about ways you can continue to do that by sprinkling it throughout your site in calls to action, headlines, body copy, a number of different things. And you don't need to occupy this prime real estate, which should be reserved for some of those commercial links, right? And showing, I'm
Mhm.
guessing the shark isn't the only thing that gets sent here, but maybe it is. We'll find out. But if you have bundles, you probably have more than one product, right? So there are probably some categories. Maybe there's a license deal with Disney characters or something. I don't know. We'll find out as we move down the page. But this real estate could be better used to show all the different options because, as we know, kids are very opinionated, and a shark might
Mhm.
not work for my little girl, but it will definitely work for my son. So what do I get for her? Because if he's got one, she's got to have one too.
Right. That it's built-in upsell. I love it. Uh, that's all really great points, and I think looking at free shipping, that's always something we want to see in a promo bar. But put it up above the navigation. It's kind of to have it where it is below the nav is a little disruptive. I think it could be a little bit smaller copy, one line, just for US shipping on orders over 49, and just have that as one thin bar at the top of the page. That's where consumers are used to it, and it performs really well there. Um, Now, in talking about the main marketing message area, really they're focusing on one product, which I'm never a huge fan of. Also, they're using a CTA that says buy now, which is really high intent. I have all the same questions that you just had, James, and especially because you raised a few I didn't even have until you brought it up. So the reality is now I'm like, I'm not ready to buy. I need more details. So a lower intent to purchase CTA here, like few details, learn more, something like that, is going to go a long way. And all in all, with this, I'm never a fan of focusing on one product. I'm a fan of focusing on what pain or need are you solving for. What what do you obviously they have a mission, and the donations and stuff is important to them. But if I'm a parent, what need are you solving for me? Right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you're trying to improve the lives of children. And one of those ways might be through donations, and whatnot. But focusing on one product like this is shortchanging the rest of your catalog and what your brand is and what your brand can do.
Yeah, when I look at this picture, I'm thinking Beanie Babies from my childhood. That was the thing. And what'd you do
Mhm.
with Beanie Babies? You collected all of them, right? You tried to get as many as
Right.
you could. There were special ones that were collectible. So I see like phrases like fluffy family. Maybe a better CTA here is like meet the rest of the crew, right? Or
Mhm.
even like when I hover over the shop all link, there's no drop down there. There's nothing that tells me that there's more than one. There's more than just the shark here. So that could be maybe this background image is just a big pile of all the different friends that you have. And like at a glance, that shows me, look at all these cool ones. And I kind of get
Yeah.
a picture of the unicorn in the back. I'm like, that's the one for my girl. So let me go to shop all. Let me try to find the unicorn, whatever. I think that would be something definitely worth experimenting with because I bet it's going to get somebody one step farther in the customer journey, assuming that the shark's not the right fit for everybody, right? Um,
Mhm.
so let's move on down the page here, and this is kind of what we're talking about, right? There's a little bit of
Yep.
categorization here. There's bundles, there's fan favorites, care packages that you can donate. I love how that's paired right underneath this element. But man, for such a significant investment or a significant achievement and a meaningful cause, it does feel kind of understated right here, in terms of how it's presented on the page.
I would agree with that. I also have a bit of a challenge with the learn more link. That's very likely not getting a lot of clicks because we've already trained everybody on the site to look for these blue boxes as call to actions. And here we're doing an underlined text with an arrow. So they're trying to draw attention to it, but they don't want to make it a CTA because probably because it's not selling anything. Right. And
Mhm.
so they're like, okay, we'll knock it down a level in terms of visual prominence. I don't know if it truly is something that you feel like you want to have on the site here, then in this location, and have it animated like they did. I think they could also have a regular call to action there. Um, the cents, I would just round up. I'm a little confused about the 17 cents plus. If you're being so specific, is there really a plus? That's that's the
Right.
part that confuses me as a consumer.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think I caught earlier that this number was getting bigger, and I'm not sure if it's updating live, which would be really cool, or if it's just kind of a single animation that's triggered to kind of draw your eye when you load the page. But I agree with that. Like just show me even 600,000 plus or something like that
Mm-hmm.
is easier for my. It takes less energy for my brain to process that concept. But like I'd love to see some imagery here. Like show somebody delivering the care package to a child in a hospital or something like that. That could go a long way. I would look to examples from the nonprofit world to see how they're showing kind of giving back or the mission that they're doing and make this more impactful or move it further down the page and present it like, okay, if you buy one of these, a donation will be made to a children's hospital, and here's the impact that your purchase has on somebody in need, right? Maybe it comes better after, like right at that time where they're really considering making the purchase or not. This could be the thing that pushes them over the finish line, is doing something good for
Mm-hmm.
somebody else, right?
Right.
Cool. So I'll move down here. We see shopping by categories, or we're going to get into a little section here that'll show us all the different animals. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'll start here and you tell me when you're ready to move down if I need to.
Well, I think that this is answering questions that a lot of people probably had up to this point on the page, right?
Mhm.
And so it's good, but it's also, we shouldn't have to scroll halfway, about we're probably about halfway down the page before we get to this spot. And, the goal of a homepage really is to get people to the next step in the funnel, not to sell a product right on the homepage. And there seems to be a lot of sales pitches here, right? It's a lot of buy now, shop now, right? Those type of things. If you scroll down a little bit and we look at the products, what is the CTA there? Okay, so you're just pushing people, it looks like, maybe to a PDP,
Hmm.
which is great. And I love that they're showing the product here finally.
Yeah.
I think this is the first place we're seeing that there's variety. You're getting some sense of size based on the box, although I still don't know. I mean, that box could be this big, or it could,
Yeah.
if you can see me, right? Or it could
Right.
be this big. We don't know, right?
Right.
So the reality is that having another way to tell people how big it is. Also, I think that's an understated call to action with the little arrow when you roll over and the dollar. I don't know that it needs any more information other than maybe the size. You could say Darcy the Duck underneath, 6 inch, friend, something like
Hmm.
that, right? Or just give it a size, if you will.
Right. Yeah, a couple things I'm noticing from this section. Mystery gifts sounds super cool. I don't understand what that would be in this context, right? Does that
Mhm.
mean you just pick one at random for me and send my kid or me or my kid a random
Mhm.
plush? Like that's kind of fun. Some people might go for that, but like just losing it here with it looks like everything else. Like I'm not saying that warrants its own section, but put a little emoji next to it or something to call attention to
Mhm.
it, and then a little clarifying text like "can't decide. Let us send you a mystery gift and we'll choose our favorite" or something like that. That could be cool. The other thing I'm really like craving here, I think, from the user perspective, is like, okay, I know my son's obsessed with sharks, right? Can you have a category here for the ocean collection? Can you have the jungle
Mhm.
collection? Can you have the farm animal collection? Like, kids are very interested in specific animal types in my experience, and it makes it easier for me as a parent or a caregiver to find the animal I'm looking for. So I know elephants are probably in the jungle, right? Octopus is probably in the ocean collection. That can be more intuitive than just fan favorites, new bundles, mystery gifts, that kind of thing. I think that would go a long way to getting somebody into that next step of the consideration phase.
Yeah, I would almost just eliminate those buttons, quite honestly. I think they're adding more questions and confusion than you just had 100 questions. I'm
Hmm.
exaggerating, but you had several questions there, right? That it was introducing, as opposed to making it easier. So I would eliminate those and test not having them, getting straight into the product.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. What I do like about this is it does show. I'm not sure if this is every single. It must not be every single one because there's a view more button here. But it
Mhm.
does show. This is what we're talking about. The breadth of the product catalog. You could also convey this in the hero, like we suggested before. But I
Mhm.
do like how many they're showing here, and that they're not buried in a carousel, which is what we see all the time. We see like 12 items in a carousel, and the user has to constantly scroll back and forth to find the one they want. Just show it all on one page, and then give me the option if I don't see something I like here to go see that entire category or see the whole catalog. Um, Awesome. So it looks like we're getting close to the bottom of the page here. They're going to get in some social proof customer testimonials. So we see these on most websites. So I think that's a really savvy play on the part of Send a Friend. What are your thoughts here? I'll try to get most of it on the page. I think that's pretty much
Yeah.
everything.
Well, look, I love one that it's pulled from Twitter, right?
Hmm.
And that they're linking to the Twitter profile. This makes it super real, right? Meaning like there's no way to fake these. The only other thing I would recommend here is maybe even doing like the Twitter screenshot, right? Of the
Yeah.
actual tweet. That would make it one step realer, if you will, if that's even a word, one more step towards real. So I really think that I love the one, please don't make me buy this for myself. I think that's awesome. Saying these are short, they're sweet, they are really to the point. And the photo and linking out to their Twitter is really great. 10 out of 10 for this social proof section.
Yeah, I'll give them just a little more praise. I love how they didn't link to the person's profile. That's going to get somebody off and onto Twitter and never coming back
Mhm.
again. And I also love that they didn't use a generic kind of plugin or widget to just make this a feed of all the different things
Mhm.
that we're tagging. They actually took the time to find, looks like 4 powerful testimonials and build kind of custom tiles for their website. Because if you use those feeds, you get anything. If somebody's complaining about a lost shipment or whatever, or you get somebody that doesn't have their profile picture set, this is just so much more impactful. And I think, like you said, the only thing that would make it even more
Mhm.
convincing is to have it be a screenshot of the actual tweet, just to add one more layer of authenticity to it. So
Yeah.
love that. Moving down, they get into their mission statement. So maybe this is like, not that you want to bury it, but maybe this is a place to reiterate kind of how much has been
Mhm.
given to children's hospitals. Just bring that same exact number right down here and layer it alongside of this messaging around the mission. I think that would be super compelling, because it's like, okay, 10% of my sale is going to this cause, and you've done almost $700,000 to children's hospitals since you started the business. That's super compelling, and that's going to differentiate you from the one that's sitting at the front of Kohl's, right at the checkout line, and you've got all that stuff there that my children always beg me to buy them. So that's going to make me choose send a friend over anything else, right?
Yep. Yeah. Kohl's has your number, as well as almost every store that puts those kids' toys up front. It's parents' worst nightmare. So, look, I love this. I think that incorporating their mission is really helpful, but I do agree that that picture, it's sweet. It, gets the point across, but showing somebody donating these, I think, might be a little more impactful overall.
Yeah, agreed. Awesome. So then we'll just take a look at the footer real quick, and we'll get out of here. A pretty minimalistic footer, if I could share my own observation. I mean, normally we see kind of a 4-column layout here, and people are just dumping a bunch of stuff. They've got blog, privacy policy, shipping policy, return policy. I kind of like that Send a Friend is keeping it simple, and this kind of what tic-tac-toe layout here, right, with
Mhm.
four squares almost instead of 4 columns, is a little bit different from my experience. So what do you think about the footer section here?
Well, I think that I would like to see two columns of links. One should be helpful links, the other should be shopping links. And I would lead with shopping. So top left have shop links instead of shop all. And then I would have helpful links, and that should be things like contact, privacy, help, press. And there nothing in their footer about their mission, which I'm shocked about. The main navigation has donate and mission, but you can't do that from the footer. I'm kind of blown away by that. I like the Let Us Help. They do a good job of telling you when you can expect a reply, which you very rarely see unless there's a phone number. But they are missing two pieces of that trust trifecta that we like to see in the footer. And that means they're missing a physical address and also a phone number. Now, nobody's going to show up to the warehouse, but I do think that it's important for people to know you're a real business. And the best way you can do that is having a support email address, an address, and a phone number. And so you're staffing your support email. So you might be able to staff that phone number as well. And then in terms, I could see, for instance, my parents and their son runs an e-commerce optimization firm, and they would rather call to place an order for their grandson than order online if they're having a problem, right?
Yeah.
So the number of phone calls I've gotten, and I'm like, just call them. Um, Regardless, I think in terms of social media, I wouldn't put that up top left there because most people are going to click on that and then be off of your site before they even see the email sign up. So if you really do have the cutest emails, you also need to tell people what you're going to email them and how often you're going to email them, and set those expectations, and then include a little bit about privacy, even if it's really small text underneath. Just, hey, we respect your privacy. You could link to that privacy page and leave it at that. Just let people know you're not going to sell their email address, and you'll get a lot more opt-ins. So I think all the pieces, or almost all of the pieces, are here. I do think it needs to be reordered in that tic-tac-toe. I would definitely move the social icons down to the bottom right quadrant, move the email over maybe to the bottom left, and move the help up to the top right.
Yeah. I would agree with all that. And with the email thing, even if it's as simple as like, do you just want something to make you feel good in your inbox once a week? It's just a picture of a cute kid with a stuffed toy.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that's enough for people. And that's all they want, is just this little ray of sunshine amidst everything else that's in their inbox calling for attention. The one thing that jumps out at me here is like, man, I'd love to see a brand like this explore SMS, right? Both from a marketing and
Mhm.
a sales perspective. Because as a busy parent, like I'm very rarely sitting in front of my computer unless it's during the workday. But like on the weekend, I'm all over the place. And like if my kid's birthday is right around the corner, if I could just text you for some support and you say, hey, what are they into? Oh, that sounds great. We
Mhm.
have a pink unicorn. She's going to love it. And then I can just say, yeah, use my shop pay and go ahead and put this order in. Like that would be super powerful, because I just took care of that in like 5 minutes or less, right?
Right.
I think that could be really cool, and an opportunity for them to collect some of that here, right down here, either in Let
Yep.
Us Help. We'll help you find the right plush for you through SMS support, or collect it here and then market to me through SMS and try to get me convinced to buy the product that way.
All
Awesome.
right.
So I'll move right up
Great.
to the top. Hopefully, Tyler and his team find this helpful, and we got some good insights in here. As always, John, thank you so much for joining me today to share your expertise, and we'll look forward to coming back and doing another one of these again soon.
All right. And I'm going to go send a friend to my son.
Awesome. I think he's going to love it.
I look forward to it.